Hey guys, it's John here, and I'm at the Glendale Nissan dealership, and today I'm going to be reviewing this beautiful Nissan 370Z. It's a 2013. It looks absolutely superb. I am so happy for this opportunity, and definitely comment, like, subscribe, and check out the link in the description. Let's get this review started. This car hauls absolute ass. I've driven a vast amount of sports cars in my day, from the 2009 Mazda RX-8 to the Honda S2000. Although all these cars have many similarities, they're all rear-wheel drive, they all have a nearly perfect 50-50 weight distribution while cornering. Each one has its own personality, and each one has its own quirks. For instance, the 2009 Mazda RX-8, its rev-happy rotary motor only begins to produce a decent amount of power at higher rev range. Heck, even the S2000 has an interesting way of putting down power, but power is only one very small part of the equation while driving. Driving is about the experience and the feedback you receive while doing so. However, the RX-8, while driving, feels very disconnected from the road, as if you're in a cockpit just moving along traffic. And the S2K's stock suspension is so stiff, you might as well pre-schedule an appointment with your local chiropractor. I get it. When creating a sports car, you need to please both demographics, from the car enthusiasts to the Sunday drivers. And it's very hard to find a neutral zone where you can please both at the same time. I mean, for the car enthusiasts, we like stiff suspension where we can feel the road and carve the turns and feel limited body roll and limited acceleration squat, whereas the Sunday driver might want to just cruise around on soft suspension. Maybe carve up the canyons sometimes, but rarely. I feel like these days it's quite gray when it comes down to searching for the proper sports car. You know, and when I say proper sports car, what I mean is 2 doors, 2 seats, a hatch, and a big motor strapped in the front. But that is where I believe this 2013 370Z fills in the gaps. This 2013 370Z is perfectly weighted, weighing in at a curb weight of around 3,200 pounds. The stock motor produces about 300 rear wheel horsepower, which is more than enough, especially for a car so perfectly crafted like this one. If the R35 Nissan GTR had a nephew, this car would be it. And it's not very surprising either. Looking at the interior, you see it has the same resemblance. It has the silver tone with the black, and the contrast is just so beautiful. And the inside, it's so magnificent, and I haven't seen an interior like this in a very long time. The 2013 Nissan 370Z that I'm driving right now is a base model, but it really doesn't feel like it. No, you don't have your navigation, you don't have your heated and cooled leather seats. No, it doesn't have these amenities, but you know what it does have? A beautiful motor, a beautiful sound, and let me tell you, these paddle shifters are very addicting to use. The seats in this car are absolutely amazing. I love them to death. The bolstering on them is just right on par, and it's nice to have cloth seats too, because it keeps your back warm in the winter, and in the summer it's not that hot. And to top it all off, it really holds you in place. I guess you could say this is the average consumer's Alcantara. In the base model, you do have a little cubby place in the center where you can just open it up and put all your stuff inside. And that's actually quite nice. If I were to own this car, I'd be using this a lot for a lot of things, for my wallet, for keys, for a cell phone. You don't want to have your cell phone in direct sun. You could just throw it in there and close it up and you're done. Here's a little fun fact that some don't know about the 350 and 370Z series. The 350Z has a 3.5 liter V6 motor, while the 370 has a 3.7 liter V6 motor. I only noticed this up until I did research for this review, and I was like, wait, what? That's pretty awesome. I love how symmetrical and consistent Nissan's cars are. You look at the specifications, you look at the exterior, interior engine, you look at everything, and everything is just so symmetrical. It goes to show the Nissan GT-R is one of the most beautifully engineered vehicles on the road today, I believe. The interior in this car is race inspired, and you can really feel it from the paddle shifters, the way they feel, they click into place. You know you're going to upshift in gear. The way the steering wheel just sits, and you see the rev counter and all this information here, along with the gauge pods in the center. You start the car and it sweeps all the gauges left to right. I mean, right to left, actually. And it just looks fantastic. It really gives that sporty appeal to a car that really doesn't need it, because it already has it. There aren't too many cars I can hop into and say, this car truly has been refined. You know, you hop into this 2013 370Z and you compare it to the earlier generation 350Zs or 370Zs, and you can see just the interior quality has really improved. You have padding where you need it, right next to your knees. You have this beautiful, beautiful padding right over here where my cubby is. And the sides over here, they're nice and soft. They're not hard plastic. There's actually quality to this car, even though it's a base model. And I guess that is to be expected from a manufacturer as great as Nissan. The suspension in this car is absolutely wonderful. It soaks up the bumps when you need it to, but when you take a turn hard, it really has a great way of keeping that body roll to a minimum alongside of that acceleration squat. You know, you hop into any other vehicle that has been less refined and you might experience these things, but this car, it's had changes and it's had updates and everything feels so refined. I guess that's my golden word for today, the word refine. Yes, it does get about 19 miles per gallon in the city and 26 highway rated. For me, that's just absolutely perfect, especially when you're rocking 300 or so horsepower to the rear wheels. I mean, it really doesn't get better than that. I've said a lot about stock exhausts on stock vehicles, especially lately, and I can't really say that I know of a lot of vehicles where the stock exhaust sounds absolutely perfect, but this, it really does. You hear it and it just has this roar to it, this rumble, but it's not too much. It's enough to hear from a distance, but it's not overwhelming. It really doesn't grab attention unless if somebody's looking at it. And this car is an absolute head turner. I just took it around a grocery store just to get all my gear together, and let me tell you, the amount of heads that were turning, priceless. I'd go as far as to say almost the entire people outside of that grocery store snapped their necks and looked right at this car and its beautiful daytime running lights. And that, my friends, is how you know you have a really good car. I've had more than several people snap their necks at the sight of this car, and I really don't blame them. It really doesn't get better than this 370Z. It's sporty, it sounds good, it looks good, the wheels are crazy, they're concave, but they're just edgy and beautiful. If I had to choose between the Ray's lightweight aluminum wheels, which are 19 by 9 in the front and 19 by 10 in the rear, and those come stock on the track version of this 370Z, and these wheels, shockingly, I'd have to choose these. They seem more proportionate and they seem more concave and just beautiful. Currently I'm going 50 miles an hour and the ride is just so nice. It's not really soft, but it's not really hard. It's like that in between where you know you're in a sports car. You know that you can, drift around the corner. Just kidding, I won't do that. But you know this car is a sports car and it's very pronounced, but you know that it has a little bit of a tame side too, even though it's extremely aggressive. The VQ37 VHR is one of the best V6 configuration motors I've ever heard in my entire life. It sounds so meaty, but it's not over the top. It doesn't burn a hole in your ear, but it really makes you want more. I fit all of my photography gear in the back, without any problems. You know, I could have put some in the front if I really wanted to, but there's really no need because there's plenty of space as it is. If I had to pick any car I'd choose over my 2014 Mustang GT, honestly, I'd have to pick this 2013 370Z. I'd like to thank Glendale Nissan for letting me review this car. It was a wonderful opportunity. It was one of the best cars to review. It's up for sale right now. It's $23,000, and that is a steal, especially for the amount of car you get for the price. I highly recommend you click the link in the description, and definitely like, share, subscribe, comment, and I will see you in our next video. Peace.